Now, the Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Bhupender Yadav, formally launched the book Smarter Than the Storm, championing the AI climate nexus for a truly sustainable future. Published by HarperCollins and co-authored by Amitabh Kant and Siddharth Sinha, the book advances one central argument. Climate change is a threat multiplier across food, energy, growth and stability, while artificial intelligence, if designed and governed responsibly, can act as a force multiplier to combat that threat. The book also confronts AI's own challenges, including energy, intensity data, concentration and sovereignty concerns, and reframes them as opportunities through green data centers, open and sovereign AI models, and digital public infrastructure for climate action. NewsX has spoken to the authors of the book, who explain how there exists a close relationship between AI and climate change. Let's listen in.
Now you are pointing it with the climate change. So how you see it?
देखिए ऐसा है कि ये बहुत एनर्जी गज़लर है और आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस इस समय जितनी जापान कंट्री एनर्जी कंज्यूम करता है उतनी एनर्जी कंज्यूम कर रहा है। तो दो चीज़ें ज़रूरी हैं कि इसको, जैसे माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा था कि इसको क्लाइमेट के साथ कंपैटिबल बनाना है और इसको रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी, स्मॉल मॉड्यूलर रिएक्टर्स के साथ, क्लीन एनर्जी के साथ इसको आगे ले जाना है। दूसरा कि इसका ऑप्टिमाइजेशन आवश्यक है, क्योंकि इंडिया सॉफ्टवेयर का देश है। तो कम अच्छा सॉफ्टवेयर और कम कंप्यूटिंग पावर के साथ इसको ज़्यादा पावरफुल बनाना है, वो केवल इंडिया कर सकता है। तो इसलिए भारत में रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी है, भारत ने स्मॉल मॉड्यूलर रिएक्टर्स प्राइवेट सेक्टर को परमिट कर दिया है और भारत में सॉफ्टवेयर की स्किल्स हैं, टैलेंट है, कंप्यूटिंग पावर है और डेटा सेट्स हैं। तो इसलिए कोई भी देश अगर कंपैटिबल तरीके से कर सकता है इसको क्लाइमेट के साथ, तो वो भारत है और वही हमने इस किताब में लिखा है।
सारे वैश्विक नेताओं ने कहा है ग्लोबल साउथ में अब एआई हब है भारत।
बिल्कुल। देखिए, एआई समिट ने दिखाया कि क्या इसका पुल है। दुनिया के सारे लीडर्स एआई के आए, सारे नेता यहाँ आए, एक यूनानिमस डिक्लेरेशन हुआ। उसका खास कारण ये है कि भारत के पास डेटा है, क्योंकि एक अकेला देश है जिसमें 1.5 बिलियन लोगों के पास डिजिटल आइडेंटिटी है। दूसरा कि हमारे पास स्किल है, टैलेंट है, और तीसरा कि हम एआई मिशन के थ्रू कंप्यूटिंग पावर अपने युवा वर्ग को, अपने स्टार्टअप्स को, अपने रिसर्च स्टूडेंट्स को दे रहे हैं। तो ये दिखाता है कि आगे चल के भारत, अब सर्वम लैंग्वेज ने जैसे दिखाया, एआई का फ़ायदा तभी होगा जब ये मल्टीलिंगुअल होगा, कई भाषाओं में, 22 भाषाओं में और डायलेक्ट्स में हम बात कर पाएँ और उसको, और दूसरा हम वॉइस ओवर कर पाएँ, और तीसरा हम लो बैंडविड्थ पे कर पाएँ। और यही भारत पूरी कोशिश कर रहा है अपने लार्ज लैंग्वेज मॉडल्स के थ्रू। थैंक यू
सर, इस एप्लीकेशन में भी आपका नाम नहीं आया है, तो क्या कहेंगे?
वो एंटी नेशनल है, पूरा विरोध एआई समिट के खिलाफ, पूरा एंटी नेशनल है।
तो इसमें क्या एक्शन होगा?
एक्शन तो सरकार लेगी, और मेरे विचार से कोई अंतर्राष्ट्रीय समिट में कोई वेस्ट खोल करके दिखाए, वो पूरा एंटी नेशनल एक्टिविटी है।
So I think Mr. Amitabh Kant and I, when we wrote this book, and Mr. Kant has been a mentor to me, I think the book is about the duality of the interplay between AI and climate. Because you see, on the one hand, today you can use AI to do everything from predicting floods and wildfires on the one hand, to actually making data centers even more efficient, to even tracking wildfires. But at the same time, AI has its own sort of imprint in terms of the energy that it consumes. And so rather than treating that as a challenge, our book repositions some of the challenges of AI as very powerful opportunities towards, creating a blueprint for emerging economies, to creating a blueprint for the global south. Because what we say is that AI suffers from three main challenges: the energy consumption, the water consumption; two, the lack of sovereign data sets; and three, the lack of democratized data, which will allow innovation to even happen at the grassroots level. And so rather than calling them challenges, we reframe them as opportunities. So this book is really about those opportunities, and it has been written in, it has been narrated through characters that reflect lived reality. So I think that is the beauty of this book, that it is a book which is about accuracy. It's a book that's non-fiction, yet it is written through a fictional lens.
To ask that recently AI Impact Summit was held in New Delhi, at the Bharat Mandapam. How can, AI, according to you, can bring the society, work for the betterment of the society in terms of all the human development index, HDI factors, be it in education, for making the life of people qualitative. What is because since you have authored this book.
AI is already doing that. I think the best way in what the government of India is already doing through the India AI mission is that it is democratizing access to compute and data sets. Because the innovation that's going to transform and answer your queries insofar as how do we solve for social sectors is concerned, that's going to come from the grassroots level. And that will only happen because today, a large cost of finance for them is the cost of data sets and the cost of compute. When you democratize it for them, when you create digital public infrastructure for that, even the smallest of the entrepreneur who's sitting at the ground can create some of the most powerful solutions for the world.
We all know that there are pros and cons related to AI. So what, according to you, how can the pros and cons of the artificial intelligence can be balanced, for the betterment of the modern day society?
That's essentially what this book talks about. So it actually says that AI has its challenges, but we need to have a mindset where we actually look at those challenges and opportunities. So when you open and read this book, that is exactly what it does. So rather than saying that data centers guzzle a lot of water and power, if you go and build a new data center, you're also bringing additionality of renewable energy. That renewable energy can power villages and towns around that. When you're building a new data center in a village or around a town which does not have a sewage treatment center, you can build wastewater treatment facilities that will provide the water for cooling that data center. And you can and using the heat of the data centers, you can actually provide heating to all the communities, something that's actually happening in countries like Finland. And in India, we just need to sort of replicate that in a very big way.